Hello, and welcome back to Of the People. I am Robert Chernin with my lovely co-host, Ericka Redic. Nice to be back with you.
Hello, Robert.
Ericka, Jay the Republican. That was quite the Thursday throw-up session, don't you think?
Yes, I love it. I'm always a fan of Jay and his opinion and his takes on things.
So Vivek, V-fake, what do you think?
It's interesting. There's a part of me that likes the way that he talks and his presentation, but I've also had a lot of folks who were very turned off by his performance. They want somebody who's a little bit more presidential. I think that's the hard. Here's my take, right? Everybody says they want the nice guy, right? Every woman says she wants the nice guy who's going to open the door for her and be sweet.
Oh, they want, kind. You mean they want me? They want me.
I'm
that
I was
guy.
thinking more like a Jay Shepard or, Jay the Republican.
Okay.
Who doesn't drink and is like really nice and thoughtful.
Doesn't that make him boring?
Yeah, see, that's the problem. Because what
so they
we
want the
really
bad boy.
want
is the bad boy.
The bad boy. Yeah, drives the
but
fast car. Has
but is
the
V-fake?
tattoos.
But V-fake isn't the, and I shouldn't say V-fake. So Vivek, I'm using Jay the Republican's word. He's not. You did that to me. So is he the good boy or the bad boy? Or what's
He's the bad boy.
No,
see, that's the thing. They want. It's like the Republican voters are like women, okay? They want the nice guy.
Here we
go. Want the Ron DeSantis. They want the Ron DeSantis, who says darn tootin' and things like that. But then they are attracted to the bad boy, the Viveks, the Trumps of the world. And so I think that's the problem with the Republican Party right now is that too many Republicans are not thinking. They're acting out of their emotions rather than their logic and reasoning. And, so maybe they need to stop acting like ladies and start acting like people who understand that the country is on the line.
So we must have watched different debates because they need to stop acting like ladies. There was no one on that stage other than the lady, which would be Ambassador Nikki Haley, who acted anything. I mean, didn't you think it was it was like a mud fight? I mean, who was acting like a lady?
No, I'm saying Republican voters need to stop acting like ladies, and think with their head rather than their emotions. Vote with their head rather than their emotions. But I think I didn't feel like it was a lot of mudslinging other than from Vivek, really. I really appreciated actually and was surprised by a lot of the candidates' ability to actually articulate good, thoughtful, Republican, populist messaging. I was disappointed with the number of people who are against the Ukraine conflict, but that's another story. I felt like everybody was pretty polite. Actually, I was surprised.
Well, we must have seen different debates because I didn't think it was too polite. It's what I said in the monologue, I think, however, bears, and it's worth repeating. I think, right. So this whole concept of Rinos, which again, folks, if you missed the monologue, Rinos does not stand for Republican in name only. It stands for really interested in no outsiders. Trump is an outsider. To a certain degree, I would say that DeSantis's positions are outside the party, but certainly Vivek was outside the party, right?
Yeah.
Look, someone said to me, and these are not my words, these are someone else's, that he reminded them of a carnival barker, right? Somebody else said that it reminded him of a sort of a younger, hipper Huey Long. And if you've got to be old to know who Huey Long was, the governor of Louisiana back in the day. And I guess from my position is if he had run anything right? So you have obviously Governor DeSantis, who has done a fabulous job in Florida.
Yes.
You have Governor Christie, and I happen to like governors, who during his 2 terms, controversially and all, did a great job in New Jersey. You had Ambassador Haley, who was Governor Haley, did a great job in in South Carolina. I'm sorry. Yep. And then as ambassador, right? You even have, I'll even extend to Senator Tim Scott, who's done a very good job as a senator, even though I think he disappeared a little bit on the stage. And then obviously Vice President Pence, who was congressman, who was, as Jay the Republican pointed out, he was a governor, successful congressman, and congressman, then a governor, another
governor.
Right. I like governors, by the way. I think they know how to run things. So Vivek is, again, is he a mile wide and an inch deep? I'm not really sure. But what I want to really ask is this whole divide in the Republican Party, because the old guard, right, the Rinos, as that label goes, and I hate the name, but you're talking Mitch McConnell, you're talking Mitt Romney, you're talking you're talking Lindsey Graham, you're talking Larry Hogan, who just stepped down as governor in Maryland, you're talking Charlie Baker. This is the old guard of the Republican Party, who's basically, to get along, you got to go along kind of thing. And they have a great institutional knowledge. But isn't the real divide here? There is it may not be a war within the Republican Party, but it's certainly a tug of war, is it not?
It definitely is. And I will tell you, as a newer convert to the Republican Party and a relatively newer conservative, right? I put the last nail in the coffin of my liberalism probably 4 or 5 years ago. So as somebody who is kind of new to conservatism, I do not like people like Lindsey Graham, Mitch McConnell. These are the people who have ruined the Republican Party name. The reality is
how
they
give me a how.
Are you
give
kidding
me the how?
They're the corrupt ones. They're the ones that everybody has seen sell this country down the river. Lindsey Graham and Mitch McConnell are no better than the Democrats.
Wait a minute. And look, I am certainly I am ABB, anybody but Biden. So if Donald Trump's the nominee, he's got my vote. If Ron DeSantis is the nominee, he's got my vote. We can talk about where I am in the primaries later, right? Yeah. But there have never been any corruption charges alleged against Mitch McConnell or Senator Lindsey Graham. So when you say they're corrupt, they're part of the swamp, and I get that part of it. But if you're going to look, far be it for me to defend these guys.
Mitch McConnell is married to a Chinese person who has ties to the CBP. Give me a break.
She has ties.
Wait, CBP.
He's married to Elaine. He's married to Elaine Chao, right?
Who has ties to the Chinese Communist Party, CCP? Excuse me, not CBP.
Well, first of all, if you know anyone, wait a minute. And look, I'm not here to defend him.
He's given all kinds of money to Lockheed Martin and all this stuff. So anybody who is a populist Republican does not want any of these guys who have passed these giant budgets.
Wait a minute.
Give all the money to the military industrial complex. They have ties to China. They have sold Americans down the river, and we've watched it for decades. They have spoiled. They are the reason people hate the Republican Party.
Look, I have my issues, and some of what you say strikes a chord, but we've got to stop painting with a broad brush. You cannot say, first of all, if you know anyone in China, you have ties to the Chinese Communist Party, right? Because the Chinese Communist Party controls everything. Certainly, there is a nexus between business community and the Chinese Communist Party. And if you're doing business in China, you are doing business either directly or indirectly with the Chinese Communist Party. That I got. And I would also agree that you have people like Senator McConnell and Lindsey Graham who are part of the military-industrial complex. But supporting that, and whether I agree with that or not, we're going to talk about Ukraine in a second. But that's not the same thing as sort of being bought and paid for by China. I mean, the world is a complicated, interlocked kind of place. And while I am Trumpian in the policies that I support, because there's not a policy that Trump put in place during his presidency that I did not ardently support. I think it's a stretch, and we have to be really careful here. And I can't believe I'm the one being careful, because I'm usually the irreverent one, right? But by the way, if I'm the one being careful, we got a problem. So, but there have never been allegations of fiscal wrongdoing or corruption with Senator McConnell or Senator Lindsey Graham, or even any of the Rinos that I know of. You can argue that they're part of the military-industrial complex. You can argue they're part of the swamp. You can argue the division between that the Republican Party is populist and these guys are, archaeological, finds that are fossilized and old. But I want to be careful about crossing a line, and I can't believe I'm the one being careful here, right? But there's no ties directly with former Secretary Chow, his wife, and the Chinese Communist Party that I am personally aware of, right? So let's be careful here.
Books have been written about the subject.
Doesn't make it accurate.
I mean, that may be true. Here's what I do know, though.
And I can't believe I'm defending them, but
when you've got a Republican Party who does things like go along to get along, and we're just going to hold the line. And again, these are the people who have sold the future of America down the river. They have signed the budgets. They have increased our credit.
They've decreased our credit.
They've
our credit rating. Our credit rating is downgraded.
Exactly. They have increased our debt spending. They are just as responsible for everything that is wrong with this country, because they have been there for decades. They go along with what the Democrats want. They hide things. They support things. They are part of the problem. You said it. They are part of the swamp. They are part of the old guard, and the new Republican Party does not want them anymore. It is time. See, this is the rub, right? So we can claim all we want that the Democrats are terrible and horrible and whatever.
And but they are. But
it is the boomers who have sold and destroyed this country. It is the boomers who raised their kids like crap to teach them to be woke and worry about political correctness. It is the boomers who have given all of our money.
You're changing topics.
It is not these people that we're talking about, these Republicans that everyone hates and wants out, are boomers. They are a whole generation of Republicans that are still in charge, that are responsible, along with the Democrats, for everything that is wrong with this country. So that's really the divide in the Republican Party. Is there is a group of younger Republicans, particularly folks who are in my generation, Generation X and younger, who are like, you guys are just as responsible for screwing everything up and putting us into debt as any of the Democrats that you want to blame. So get out of here. So we don't want you anymore.
Then you should be supporting Nikki Haley, because based on the debate, and we're getting the high sign. This is a quick session or a quick segment. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Okay. But real quick, where can they find us, Ericka, before we go to break? And I'm sorry to interrupt you. Actually, I'm not really sorry, because we're going to come right back to this, because I disagree.
You just want me to...
Well, you were painting with this broad brush. I wish I could paint with that broad brush. But folks, Ericka is going to tell you where you can find us.
You're going to find us on all of the socials, all of the podcast platforms other than Apple, because they suck. Of the People with Robert Chernin. Search us out, y'all. Tell us what you think. Who do you think was the winner of the debate?
Subscribe.
You gotta subscribe. You gotta rate us. You gotta comment. Leave us a comment. Who do you think won the debate? What kind of Republican do you classify yourself as? Who do you want to see as the standard bearer for the party coming up? Tell us what you think, because we need your help. And
what? Do you think that Vivek is V-fake, like Jay the Republican said? Oh. That's the opinion that I want. What do you think of the meteoric rise of Vivek? Folks, you're listening to Of the People with Robert Chernin and
Ericka Redic.
And we will be right back. I promise. Hi, I'm Robert Chernin.
And I'm Ericka Redic.
And we are Of the People. Join us on WUVR 1490 on your AM dial. That's Thursdays 9 a.m., Saturdays 3 p.m., and
WNTK 99.7 FM.
And if you can't find either of those, you can find us on Rumble.
That's right.
Listen in.